Today is the day. Congratulations, AJR fans. We have an album announcement. Today, August 28th, around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, AJR officially announced the album. We know what the title is going to be now. We know the aesthetic. We have a cool teaser we're going to talk about, a song that's confirmed. So much to go over in this video. I might go over it a little quickly, but it's just so much important stuff you guys gotta know. But keep in mind, this is just the beginning of the announcement period, so I'm sure there's lots more details to come, including probably more information this week. So if you have not done so yet, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you're kept up to date with everything AJR related. All right, with all that out of the way, let's talk some details. First of all, let's talk about the album title, TMM. So we've been teased this title, TMM, this acronym, for I think it's been since November, so like 3/4 of a year now. And of course, we've all been speculating, what does TMM stand for? And we knew it was 3 letters, 5 letters, and 3 letters, so there were so many guesses. There was 10 Meter Men, the Manly Men, the Manic Mob, the Music Men, the Metal Men, and finally today, we know the album title to be The Maybe Man. Again, the album title for AJR's next album is The Maybe Man. So let's talk a little bit about this, what it means, what it could mean for some songs, and how it relates in this whole theme for this album. So first of all, it makes a lot of sense now why they've been saying maybe a lot in their posts, like, oh, we're gonna make an announcement tomorrow, maybe. And speaking of that, somebody in my Discord named Invisible totally guessed that maybe would be the middle word for this album title based off of these recent posts. And just a quick plug for the Discord, if you're interested in talking about more of AJR stuff like this, definitely join. It's so much fun. There's so many people who are just guessing these names, guessing what songs are going to be on there, so I'll include that in a link in the description. So now let's talk about what this could mean for the album as a whole, like theme-wise. So of course there's like this whole idea of indecisiveness, which kind of makes sense because they released the song God Is Really Real, and there's a lot of that uncertainty in that song. The whole time you're listening to that song, you're asking, okay, is God really real? Or is that we believe in God whenever we're put into situations where we need some higher power? Which this idea of like questioning and wondering who you are, what you believe, is a really cool idea for an album theme in general. I also think it's really fitting for AJR themselves. They're always asking these questions and trying to better themselves, or at least trying to grow in some way. So having this title being The Maybe Man puts a lot of introspective thoughts into this mix, which I really appreciate. Not to mention, this album title is pretty searchable. For a moment there, I was worried it was going to be something like The Music Man, which is obviously already a musical, so I'm pretty glad that they landed on this for the title. All right, so now let's talk about this teaser that they released with this announcement, because it was probably about a minute-long teaser that they released, and it had just so much in it that I want to talk about. So in this thing, it starts off with this animated Jack in this open field with lots of flowers and stuff around him, and then it gets really dark, and Jack seems like depressed and contemplating something. And then after that, we see Jack running through just a series of different locations. So he runs through a forest, a hospital room, which could be related to God Is Really Real, a prom floor, the trees from OKO, which was probably my favorite part in this tease, a green screen, a city, then he starts flying, and he flies through the forest and then through space. So clearly there's a lot going on in this teaser, and I'd be willing to bet that each one of these scenes is related to a specific song. Like I said, that hospital room seemed pretty clearly related to God Is Really Real, so it'd be interesting to see, you know, how these relate to each individual song, if that's actually what they're doing. And if you have any ideas of which scene is for which song, definitely comment below. I also wanted to talk about the aesthetic for this teaser, because it was very much like this art style, like paintings. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that this is not the first time that we've seen this painting art style. I believe it was the very first time that we ever heard any news about TMM. They released this image that had the TMM logo and it was in this painting. And really from that moment, people started to speculate, well, maybe this is their art style going forward, the theme for this album. I mean, we even saw for the album art for I Won't, how that was that painting-esque art style. So clearly this is the direction that we're going in. I am honestly really digging it. But the one question I have about this is, what exactly is the album art for this album? And maybe I just pressed record a little too quick on this video and they're actually tweeting about it right now, but I haven't really understood what the album art is going to look like. And maybe it is what we saw from the very beginning where it has that TMM logo in that painting. Like, is that the album art for this? So perhaps by the time I've uploaded this video, they've already released the album art and I kind of was a little too quick with posting this. But if they haven't and you have any ideas of what you think it's going to be, definitely comment below. If I were to guess, I would say that, okay, so you know how at the beginning of this teaser that we just got, it has Jack in this field with a bunch of flowers and stuff. I'd be willing to bet the theme for this art kind of looks like that. But again, that's just a theory that I have. So if you have thoughts on this, again, comment below or let me know in the Discord, which again is linked in the description. So now I wanted to talk about another very important thing. We have the date for this album is officially announced and it's going to be released on November 3rd. So it looks like the number 13 does not play a role in the release date for this album, unfortunately, unless you count it where it's like 1-1-3, but I think that's stretching it a little bit. But honestly, I'm just really excited that this album is for sure going to be released this year and that it's going to be early November because that's gonna be coming up real quick. And of course, in the meantime, you can pre-save this album right now and you can find that link basically anywhere on their socials. Now, a question that I wanted to pose to you, and I know that there's a lot of talk that they're not going to do this, but do you think there's a possibility that they'll release another single before the album? Like I said, I know people are like, no, they're done releasing singles before this album, but like, there's plenty of time for them to release at least one more single by the time the album gets here. So just wanted to know your thoughts. And now the last thing that I wanted to mention is that we got a song that was heavily featured in this teaser for this album, and that was Pandemonium. So it looks like the song is officially going to be on this album. I know some people were thinking that it might not be on there, but looks like we have it. And that is pretty much everything I wanted to mention in this video, but of course this is the beginning of this announcement, so I'm sure there's lots of more news to come, possibly throughout this week, like with album art, with singles, with more tracks, like a full track list and whatnot. So like I said, if you would like to stay up to date with everything AJR related, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to join in the conversation on Discord, that would be greatly appreciated as well. But also, just wanted to say thank you very much for watching to the very end here. I appreciate you, and I look forward to talking more about the Maybe Man. So I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, peace.